Welcome back, fantasy football players. My name is Jordan, and I'm your host of the Big Fucking Fantasy Football League podcast. It's good to be back. I'm back in my humble abode in my studio. It feels good. I was on vacation, so that's why last week's podcast was so short. I was just on vacation, and so I had to put something out. I know people have been asking for it for a while, and I'm excited to be back. This is fun. I enjoy doing this, and I'm excited to talk fantasy football because we've had some big developments over the last few weeks, and I'm very excited to get into it. Things are heating up in both the championship league and the farm league. Things are getting a little tense, and I'd love to get into this. We got a lot to go through, so without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start with the championship league. Big games last week. I'm going to give you a high level view of the standings first so that we can kind of understand. We have a whole bunch of teams sitting at 4-2. We have 4 teams sitting at 4-2 in the top division, and then 2 teams sitting at 3-3. Grugel, you suck. But this is a tight race. This could be anybody's race. Anybody could take this division. There's a lot to be seen. A lot of big weeks coming up. Everyone's got to play. It's going to be a very tight finish all the way down to the end. The bottom division, we have a new league leader, Matthew Daly. I Chase Young Kids. I love that name. I think it's a beautiful play on Chase Young. But regardless, he is our new leader at 5-1. He managed to take down Scott Newbrough, Hillbilly Kalen, who's now at 4-2. Both teams were 4-1 going into last week's match. Now one of them is 4-2. One of them is our league leader. So let's get into it. Let's see how that matchup went down. That was a battle of the Titans in this league, and I think they did not disappoint. Matthew Daly coming in with a whopping 150 points. Can I get a oh yeah? Close enough. Matthew Daly. Holy Jesus. 150 points coming in. That's going to win you basically every game. We're going to look into his team because he laid a smackdown on Scott. So you look at his team here, right? You look at it. Matthew Stafford, Joe Mixon, Chuba Hubbard. I love that name. Leonard Fournette. You got Travis Kelce. Fairly solid team. Loaded at running back, which is great to see because this is a league that running backs are very hard to find. Especially not PPR, so third down backs aren't going to do it for you. So we get into this a little deeper. And you're like, okay, well, he only has 3 guys on his bench. What do you mean he only has 3 guys on his bench? Where's the rest of his bench? Scroll down to kicker. There's no kickers. And then you scroll down to the goddamn defenses, and this man is loaded. He sounds like this on defense. This man is loaded on defense. The Rams, the Ravens, the Cardinals, all of these guys, every single one of them, bananas. They were all bananas. Last week, he just picked the Rams. Wouldn't have mattered. You could have picked the Ravens or the Cardinals. They didn't matter. I mean, honestly, he didn't even need to start a defense. He could have just played nobody, and he still would have won. But neither here nor there. He managed to win with 3 defenses. This is a strategy in fantasy football that I have yet to see. I think this might be the cusp. I think he might be onto something here. Maybe I've been missing it all these years. Maybe it's 3 defenses that win you fantasy football championships. I don't know. I do know that defense wins championships, especially in fantasy. I've seen so many championships won and lost on literally just defenses. Matt Daly is going for it all. He's saying, my starting lineup is better than your starting lineup, and I will just pick the best defenses, and we will just win all our games. That's what he's saying. That's what he's telling you. He's saying, come out and stop me. And right now, at 5-1, I can't talk shit. He's the league leader, and he did a good job. Scott, it's just unfortunate. You know what? You had a good team. 113 points. 113 beats you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. Beat you 9 out of 14 teams. More than half. You would have beat more than half the teams this week. But you didn't. So, guess it sucks. Sucks to suck, right? And you didn't even have a chance. Basically, by the time the 4 o'clock games showed up, you had nothing left. There was nothing for you to gain. Like, you would have already your hopes would have been crushed. That would have been it. Just call it, back your shit up and go home. So, congrats, Matt Daly. You did a great job. Let's move to the surprising performance of the week. Rafi Bomb. My dude, Eric Henderson. He got smoked last week, and his guys decided, you know what? We're going to play a little bit better than average. Not a whole lot. Actually, I don't even think it's average in this league. 91 points, I think, might beat you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it doesn't even beat, it beats 6 teams. And you just happen to play one of them. But you know what? You win. You beat Little Dan, my brother. You beat him. Sent him to 3-3. Good news. You're 1-5 now. Keeps you in the race. You know, you just put a couple weeks together and you'll be sitting pretty. Dan, you had a 20-point lead going into the final game. And Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown just came through for Eric. That's just a little too bad. Must have been like a 20-point lead. Neither here nor there. Stan still lost. Eric, you know your team. You've said it in the chat before that your team's shit. You basically lost all your running backs. You're down on your luck. And so you know what you did? You went out and you did something I've never seen before too. This week has been insane. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know if you guys can see this on our little chart, but Eric started 2 tight ends this week. Mark Andrews. He started Mark Andrews in the tight end slot and then started TJ Hawkinson in the tight end spot. Like, what a gamble. What a gamble. This dude just cleaned up with the tight ends. That was pulling him through. Mark Andrews actually was almost his whole was almost his highest scorer. And that's ridiculous. I can't believe you won. Kareem Hunt left the game with a calf injury. He's now going to be on IR, and you're basically fucked. From here on out, I don't think you might win one. You might win one. I hope you win one. But you also did a great job starting the Colts defense. That was a major turning point. You start New England against Dallas, and you get crushed. Instead, you started the Colts. Great job. Good job. Good job. Dan, what are we going to do, dude? Your team. This is not okay. Randall Cobb, 0. Devontae Smith, 3. Chris Moore, 1. You got 4 points between 3 players. All receivers. This is a glaring weakness. Your running backs are pretty decent. Najee Harris, James Conner, pretty decent. When Calvin Ridley comes back, it's fine. Mike Davis is fine. Jerry Jeudy, you know what? If I don't know how long is Jeudy out for. So it looks like Jeudy might be able to come back pretty soon. Looks like he's coming back pretty soon. They said he's 50-50 on Thursday's game. They might keep him out. I wouldn't mind that. But they bring him back. They start bringing him back, Dan. You know what? Maybe your team gets back in the running. Calvin Ridley stays healthy. Jerry Jeudy stays healthy. You might have a shot. You're only at 3-3, so that's the good news. You know, your receivers were weak this week. Eric took advantage. Good job, Eric. Well-deserved win. You did a great job upsetting Dan. Lastly, I'm going to talk about one of the undervalued performers that I saw this week, which is Jordan Ivany. Play boldly. Doing what he does. 128 points. Just steamrolling. And I want to bring this guy up. And the reason is because his team is actually really good. I think his team could do this every single week. Look at his team. Kyler Murray, MVP quarterback. Probably a front runner. He's probably going to win it. He looks really good. You have Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Courtland Sutton. 3 very good receivers. Now you're going to say Jerry Jeudy's hurt. You're going to say that. And that's okay. But you know what? As a flex position, Courtland Sutton, not that bad. Saquon Barkley has been shit for you, and I see this. You can go into his points. I've seen how bad he can be. Now, he got hurt. He's been hurt. So, is this going to come back and bite him? Maybe. It's hard to tell. He's been so hot and cold, and that Giants offense is so bad. But I could see you putting together a deep run into playoffs. I know you're 2-4, so you're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. This win here this week, that was a huge win, because if you had gone to 1-5, I think you're sitting with the same fate as Eric Henderson and saying, we got to really put some shit together, because there's not that many weeks left, right? I think we might play 13 weeks, 14 weeks at most, 13 probably. I don't know how many it is with the new NFL schedule. I think we probably play 13. So, which means that if you lose 5, you're going to be at best 8-5. I mean, that's fine. That's a decent record. But, it's a tough slog. There might be some good teams in your league. So, we'll go back to the standings. Most people are 4-2 in this top one. Like this bottom one, this could shake out a whole bunch of different ways. Everyone's got bye weeks this week. This is a big bye week. So a lot of games to win, a lot of points to be had. I'm excited to see how these next few weeks turn out. So that's all I have for this big week, the big league this week. We're going to get a word from our sponsor. Make sure you guys stay tuned, and we'll be right back. It just sucks. I mean, your hopes were actually really brought up by Derrick Henry on that Monday night game, because he just was a monster. Unbelievable. And effort wins. Bro, what are you doing leaving the rookie of the year on the bench? What kind of decision making is this? This dude, Jamar Chase, has done nothing but put up points all year. You can see this. This is one of his third out of the 6 games he's played. This is the right in the middle, third lowest. And it's still 13 points. That's what? Are you going to ask more? And if you follow the trend this week, big game, lesser game, big game, lesser game, big game, lesser game. This was a lesser game. You know what's coming up next? Probably a lesser game, because I probably pointed out that stat. But you can see it from here in the chart. You got a lot of points. You could do this. You could really put together a good team. I'm happy you might have figured out how to change your roster. I don't even know if you did. No idea. Which might be why Jamar Chase is still on the bench. But that was one of the games I wanted to look at. I thought it was really good. I think this might have been my favorite for biggest upset, based on the fact that Ricky didn't know how to change his team forever. So I think that was a good win. So if we go back into the league standings, so after last week, we've got all these teams 3-3, 2-4, 1-5. Any one of those teams can still move up. Top 6 teams make it into playoffs. You only need to get to third in your division to make it in. And once you're there, you move up into the next league. So all these teams sitting at, even if you only have 1 win right now, don't be discouraged. You're still in this, right? Large penis team. You've got a really solid team. Yokiro, Taco Bell. Points for solid teams. You've just been unlucky. Large penis team. I think that's Liam. Yeah, it is. Liam. You've been unlucky. 800 points scored against you. Tom is lucky that he's 6-0, because he actually has one of the lowest points against. So, and you could say that he's got the second highest points for blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but all it takes is just you just have one bad game and you have a couple of really good games, and those points for get skewed. Could be losses. They very well could be losses. So, that's it. That's it we got for the farm league. We're going to go on a quick break. I've got Ty and Tom talking about next week's matchup. We're going to go do a quick look ahead, and then we'll get right back to it. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Thank you.
Whatever.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a very special guest on the show today, the owner of Spread Cheeks, formerly known as Spread Cheeks Spreadsheets, Tom Vnuk. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. And by the way, hey mom, I made it on the show. So thanks for having me on the show, Jordan. And by the way, it's great to have you hosting this show again. On behalf of me and the other managers, really appreciate the hard work you put in this show.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are so kind. Um, I'm happy to host it. I think this has been fun. It's been a great way to connect to our community and help build a little bit of a league culture. So, we have a lot to talk about because there's a big game this week. Looks like you are in contention to make a very deep run into playoffs. You're sitting at what 6-0, totally undefeated. But you have a tough matchup this week. So, what are your thoughts about playing Ty? As since he is the number 2 seed, it looks like it's going to be like a possible preview of the championship game.
Well, look, Ty is definitely a competent opponent. I have the utmost respect for his fantasy skill. We go way back, and I can confidently say that historically and statistically speaking, I have a better record than him in 3 leagues I share with him. So I'm not too concerned. This is a by-Mageddon kind of week. I think both him and I have quite a lot of players sitting on a rest week, which I'll be honest, I'm not too worried about because the more buys I have in 1 week, the less I have in every other week. So I'm probably missing some of my key players this week. But after the waiver wire this morning, the pickups I got, I'm feeling more confident about it. I got away with murder with picking up what is it, Dearness Johnson,
Yep.
and Joe Burrow. So I'm pretty excited about the prospects of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I see that you've got 4 players on buys this week. Was there any player that you were really concerned about trying to replace?
Um, I'll be honest. I was concerned about my running back situation. I've with Nick Chubb and Chris Carson on the
On
resting
IR.
in bed and nursing some injuries. It's been pretty tough, but I mean, I haven't needed them for the first 6 wins, so I'll let them rest until playoffs, I guess. So I'm not too worried. And because I was able to pick up Johnson, that fills that gap.
Yeah. So did you strategize in your draft about making sure that all your players had relatively the same bye week?
You know what? As I was picking up players, I was noticing they all were the same week, and I didn't look into the fact that most good teams are on the same weeks. I think there's another 2 weeks that have this situation happening. But when I saw it and I started I ended up with like 2 guys. I'm like, all right, well, we'll just go heavy on week 7 buys, and whoever I get to play, they might get a free win. But I think I'll still be competitive this week.
Excellent. Yeah, no, your team actually looks pretty good, especially when you stack it up against ties. It looks like you guys are going to have a very tight matchup. I'm looking forward to see how this turns out. Switching gears a little bit, are there any other managers in the league that you've actually kind of taken notice of and saying that they've done really well?
You know what? The 2 notable managers that come to mind are actually Papa T and drafting wins. I mean effort wins. I don't
Papa T and
I don't know if
Ricky.
it's I don't know if it's a lack of tinkering or sheer luck, but uh, these guys, I think both these teams are looking pretty strong. Papa T's having one of as I would say one of the best running back flex kind of combos in the league, and effort win. I don't know. This I would say despite any standout strengths with his team, I would say there's no real flaws with it either. It's a real balanced team. So it's going to be hard to find some weaknesses. And looking at the rest of the kind of teams in this league, they're quite lopsided. So they've got some good players, but the rest are kind of trash. So a balanced team might go far with this league.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, it was great having you on the show. You provided some very valuable insight. We're all going to be taking note of what goes down in this game this week. So good luck to you, and hope your players do well.
Thanks, Jordan. And it's been a great privilege to have the opportunity to kind of get the chance to get promoted to this Champs League that's been so coveted. And I've got my sights for that. So watch out, everybody.
Yeah, well, you're well on your way. You're doing great. So thanks, Tom. Yeah, everybody, this is Tom Vanook, and he's the owner of Spread Cheeks. Coming right up after the break, we'll have Ty Weary on it with his points on this matchup this week. All right, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with a very special guest, the owner of the Lambeau Leap squad, Ty Weary. How are you doing today, Ty?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me. And before we start, I just want to say, huge fan of the show. Really appreciate you putting this on every week. It's definitely a must listen to. So appreciate all the work that you do for it, and really enjoy the show.
Oh, thank you. It's kind words. So you have a big matchup this week. You're playing Tom, but I see you have a lot of buys. What's your status on your team looking like right now?
You know what? I think I've kind of piecemealed something together. Probably still need a kicker. I think the Spread Cheeks team is fortunately in a bit of a similar situation as I am, between buys and injuries. They're dealing with some holes as well. So the timing for both of us for this, 1 seed versus 2 seed matchup, we won't be at full strength, but we should both still put on a show.
Is there any player in particular that you're looking forward to seeing and hopefully stepping up and filling the role for all these bye weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a group effort, right? You're going to need probably everyone to pull their weight. I think, fortunately, Kyler Murray, despite some question marks early in the year about where I drafted him, he's really carried things for me. So we'll look for him to have a big week, obviously. And beyond that, I would say, Tyreek Hill is probably another guy. He can be a little bit boom or bust at times. His booms can be pretty big, especially in a PPR league. He's a little banged up with a quad injury right now. So hopefully he rebounds from that and can put up one of those 30 or 40-point weeks for me as well.
That's awesome. So what do you think of Tom's team? Do you think they stand a chance against you guys this week?
You know what? I see what you're trying to do there in baiting me, but I have a ton of respect for Tom. A ton of respect for him as manager. I know despite his buys and some injuries right now that he'll put together a great squad. He's also one of those guys that, challenges you every year that you're in a league with him. He's probably got me more into the analytical side of fantasy football than maybe I was, 4 or 5 years ago. Tons of respect for him, other than the 1 year that he drafted Alex Collins with his first overall pick in another league that we're in with him. He'll never live that down. But ton of respect for him. I think he's put together a great team. I mean, he's the guy that we're all chasing. So while he sits at the top, we all have our work cut out and got to go after him.
You're wise, Ty. I was trying to bait you into some trash talk, but you're too classy for me.
I'm not giving Spread Cheeks any bulletin board material this week.
Awesome. Is there any other managers that you are looking at and a little bit worried about?
Yeah, you know what? I think Alex. I think Fantasy Fisters. I think he came out of the gate hot as well. I think he's been bogged down with some injuries recently that have hurt him a little bit. I think, and not even just direct injuries, but indirect. I'm pretty sure he has Tyler Lockett. Obviously, Russ Wilson was cooking at the beginning of the season, especially with Lockett. And I think he's kind of stashed him on his bench while Russ gets healthy, so that hurts him. I think anyone in the league honestly has a shot. I think you look at Zach's team. Anytime you have Mahomes and Derrick Henry I think you have a shot, right? So as you've seen many times before, all you got to do is get there. You just got to get to the dance. You got to get to the playoffs, and anything can happen at that point. So, whether your record is 6-0 or whether you're 1-5 right now, which is I think the low man right now in our league, I think nobody's out of it at this point. Still lots of ways to go, lots of season left, and we'll see how it unfolds.
Excellent. All right, well, that's all I got for you, Ty. Thanks for joining us tonight and taking some time out of your busy schedule to take some time and enjoy the fans, entertain the fans.
Yeah, not a problem. Again, thanks for having me on, and all the best to you, and take care. We'll chat soon.
All right, sounds good, Ty. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care.
This week, I'll tell you that much when it made a difference. And lastly, the last one I want to talk about is the last team I want to talk about is the Flamin' Hot Cheetos Player of the Week. And it's Robbie Purr, Jake Grew, and I'm telling you this, and I know they all came from the same league, and I looked across both. And the reason why I picked this is because if you look at the total points, we got to go to Game Center, I guess. We look at the total points Robbie Purr put up each week, 121, 123, 159. This guy is hot, hot, hot. And he's going to ride this hot, hot team all the way into the playoffs. Because this is ridiculous. How he's only 4-2? I don't know. You know what? Actually, I can break this down right now. Basically, he had a couple of chodes early on. Some games that he might have been able to win. But his team right now is stacked. Even look at this. Like 124 points the week before that. So, his 2 losses, he didn't play so well. But his team is loaded now. He has made moves. He had made adjustments. I don't see any team that could probably stop him except for me because I'm the best. Just in case you weren't aware. But, he's got a very solid team, top to bottom, and he's been putting up points every week. If you're not worried when you play this guy, I don't know what kind of fantasy football you've been watching. Ryman, take his ass down. Just saying. So, we talked about the best game of the week. Now let me talk about what I think is the danger zone. And this is in the other guys. This is in the farm league. I love this. Because this is, sorry, it's not in the farm league. I made a mistake. Again, this is another championship league. This is whoever I think is going to have the biggest upset. And problem with picking the farm league is that all the 3-3 teams and the 2-4 and 1-5 teams are all playing each other. There's not that big of a disparity. But there is in this league. We have 2 people that I've talked about already on this podcast. We have I Chase Young Kids and Play Boldly, Jordan Ivany versus Matt Daly. These guys are ex-roommates. They hate each other. They all love each other, but they also hate each other. We have 2 guys who've done very well the past few weeks. Jordan Ivany coming off 128 points. Matt Daly coming off 149 points. These guys are going to put up points this week, and it is going to be a festival of points. If this were any other team, I would be like,
I'm in danger.
But you know what? They're playing each other, so I'm very happy because you know what? One of these guys is going to come up at, and I think Jordan Ivany has the perfect opportunity to take Matt down a peg. Help the rest of us out. You're a man. We're cheering for you this week. You're going to do well. I hope I didn't jinx you. For people who are new in this league, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. Jordan Ivany has what we call the Ivany curse. Every time he starts cheering for a team, they suck. Every time he says they're going to win, they don't. Every time he thinks that something's going to happen, it doesn't. It's just what it is. But this week, dude, I've got faith in you. I think your team is strong enough to overcome Matt Daly's. Godspeed. So that is all I have for today's show. What a doozy. I'm happy to be back. I'm looking forward to this fantasy football week. I hope you are too. Make sure you guys leave comments and some stuff in the chat. Let me know if there's anybody you think deserves a shout out. There's lots of news to go around. I only got so much time. But thank you guys all for watching, tuning in, listening, however you absorb my podcast. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.